In the vast fields of Texas and Florida, a roar echoed in the pitch-black night. Under the moonlight, patches of corn were ploughed, mud flying up like after a battle. The drone hovered overhead, capturing a scene that was nothing short of an ecological nightmare. Dozens of giant wild boars charging in chaos, their bodies covered in mud, their eyes glowing red in infrared light. They did not come out of curiosity, they came to destroy. Cornfields, melon fields, even cattle pastures were turned into battlefields. More than 6 million wild boars, hybrids of European and American breeds, have become the most dangerous invasive species on the continent. Every year, they cause more than 2.5 billion USD in damage, destroy millions of hectares of farmland, and transmit diseases to livestock. Farmers have to build electric fences, set traps, hire hunters, even use helicopters and infrared devices to track them down, but it seems to be in vain. The more they are hunted, the smarter they become, reproduce faster, and move further. In the darkness, the war between humans and this invasive species continues. No gunfire is enough to stop it. And the question still echoes, can humans stop this invasion before it's too late?
Golly.
If you are also troubled by stories about nature, survival and the silent wars between humans and the wild world, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any dramatic journey ahead. The origins of the invasive wild boar in America date back to the 16th century, when the first European settlers brought domestic pigs on transatlantic ships. They were initially raised for their meat, fat, and hides, a valuable food source in the early settlements. However, many escaped from their pens, went feral, and began to adapt to their new natural environment. Hundreds of years later, in an effort to recreate the sport hunting movement, Americans imported European wild boar breeds to serve the elite.
Careful now, they're a bit agitated.
The crossbreeding of domestic pigs and European wild boars created a new super species, super hogs. They are large, extremely intelligent, can weigh over 180 kilograms, move fast, and are almost unstoppable. Thanks to their almost limitless adaptability, they quickly spread throughout the southern states such as Texas, Florida, Alabama, and even further north. The result is millions of hectares of farmland destroyed, crops ploughed, and annual economic losses amounting to billions of dollars. From a gentle domestic animal, the hybrid feral hog has become the biggest ecological nightmare in the history of American agriculture. Across the United States, more than 6 million feral hogs are rampaging like an uncontrollable army. They have spread across more than 35 states, from the cornfields of Texas to the floodplains of Florida, reproducing at a terrifying rate. No natural predators can contain them, making them America's worst agricultural nightmare. According to estimates from the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, the damage caused by feral hogs has exceeded 2.5 billion USD a year, a figure that is no less terrible than natural disasters. They plow through rice fields, destroy orchards, rip through wire fences, and attack livestock. In Texas, even the most resilient farmers have to admit, it only takes 3 nights for an entire crop to turn to ashes. A farmer in San Antonio recounted, his voice trembling, "I worked for half a year, and then overnight, the whole field was reduced to mud and the groaning of the earth." Hundreds of wild boars passed through the darkness, roaring and tearing up everything in their path. When dawn broke, all that remained was an eerie silence and the pungent smell of damp earth. Can you imagine what it would feel like to have half a year's work disappear overnight? Leave your comments below. Wild pigs are America's most silent and ruthless invaders. Not viruses, not natural disasters, but their intelligence and super survival instincts have turned them into a nightmare that farmers cannot extinguish. It is said that wild pigs remember like elephants. Once they escape a trap, they will never go that way again. They learn quickly, avoid human scent, avoid engine noise, and even coordinate in herds like a trained army. And what is more terrifying is the stormy reproduction rate. A female can give birth to 2 to 3 litters per year, each litter up to 12. After just a few breeding seasons, a small herd can turn into a raging flood of meat, spreading like a black wave from the deep forest to the fields, then straight into the villages. Nothing can stop them. Steel fences are knocked down, rocks are torn up, and anything edible becomes the target of this voracious herd. When night falls, wild boars rush into farms like black winds. The shrill cries of chickens and ducks echo in the barns, mixed with the sound of broken steel. They tear and trample, leaving nothing but mud and feathers behind. For farmers, it is not just a loss, but a horror that repeats itself night after night. And as dawn breaks, only the haunting question remains: can humans stop this intelligent and prolific monster before it's too late? In Texas, where feral hog infestations are the most severe in the United States, farmers have been forced to turn into hunters. When the sun sets, farmers don their armored vehicles, turn on their night vision devices, and drive into their fields. In the darkness, infrared light from thermal cameras flashes across the churned cornfields. Every strange movement could be a feral hog lurking. They come like ghosts. They wipe out the entire crop overnight, Bastrop farmer Jake Miller said, his voice choked with frustration. If you don't stay awake, you'll find nothing but bare ground and the smell of mud in the morning. From above, drones fly like birds of prey, transmitting live images to the control screen. When a target is detected, the signal is immediately sent to the group of hunters on the ground. The sound of the off-road vehicle engine roars, then boom, a gunshot rings out in the night, a flash of fire tears through the darkness. The most important thing is that all wild boar hunts take place under the strict permission and supervision of the authorities. This is not a hobby, but a mandatory task to protect crops, preserve the environment, and restore the fragile balance of the ecosystem. Sometimes, helicopters are also mobilized, shining lights across the fields, chasing the pigs that are running away like wild demons. It is no longer farming, but a real battlefield. What do you think about this hunt? Leave a comment below. Faced with the devastating impact of more than 6 million wild boars, US experts are shifting from hunting and exterminating to smart control. Instead of mass shooting, they are experimenting with injecting hormones to inhibit reproduction, an injection that can make female pigs infertile for months. At the same time, hundreds of drones equipped with AI recognition are deployed, which can distinguish wild boars from other species even in the dark, sending coordinates and behavioral data to the control center. Although there is a glimmer of hope, this war is far from over. Because every time humans think they have the wild boar under control, another invader emerges, silently waiting for a chance to wreak havoc on America in a new way. But when the war with wild boars was not over, a new challenge appeared. The red fox, proving the strong vitality of nature. Initially, they were brought to North America by Europeans in the 18th century, only to serve the noble sport hunting. But then, a few individuals escaped into the wild, reproduced strongly and quickly got out of control. In the golden wheat fields of Kansas or Nebraska, the red fox's silhouette lurked in the morning mist, its bushy tail waving like a flame in the wilderness. They moved silently, lurking around the chicken coop, then darted out like lightning. In just a few minutes, an entire flock of chickens could be slaughtered, and even rabbits and native birds could not escape the clutches of this cunning predator. Red foxes are upsetting the food chain in many central states, ecologists warn, as bird and small mammal populations plummet. Like wild pigs, they are intelligent, adaptable, and have virtually no natural predators. The problem is no longer eradication, but how humans can coexist with another, more sophisticated and unpredictable invader. The seemingly harmless red fox has now become a nightmare for many American farmers. They lurk in the darkness, walking lightly like the wind, then suddenly rush into the chicken coop. The sound of flapping wings and shrill cries echo in the quiet night. After only a few minutes, dozens of chickens and ducks disappear without a trace, leaving behind feathers scattered all over the ground. Not only attacking poultry, red foxes also disrupt the ecological balance. They also hunt hares, ground nesting birds, and rare birds such as meadow owls or white-backed herons. In many conservation areas, the number of native birds has decreased sharply in just a few years, causing ecologists to sound the alarm. Mr. Henry Collins, a Texas farmer, sighed. They are very smart, sneaking like ghosts, even knowing how to open the lock of the coop. I set traps several times, but they still got away. In just one night, he lost dozens of chickens. In response to the red fox outbreak, many states in the US have been forced to deploy a series of control measures, from humane trapping to biotechnology. Modern traps no longer kill the animal, but only temporarily confine it for relocation to an area far from residential areas.
There you go, buddy. Go on. Well, that's what you like to see right there.
Some research groups have also experimented with using pheromones that are characteristic of the species to attract, mark territory, or keep foxes away from poultry farms.
Kitty, get out!
Dirt holes, flat sets, whatever over here, they're pretty educated, but something like this, you catch him moving through a trail, to get tied up in this stuff and choke himself out to death.
In addition, the government allows controlled hunting during certain seasons, limiting the number and specific areas. Hunters are licensed to use air guns or bows and arrows, ensuring that other species are not affected. However, these efforts have sparked a fierce debate. Conservationists assert red foxes are an important link, helping to balance nature, control rats and pests, but farmers strongly protest. Foxes are also nature, who will protect us. In the cold, barren fields, they still stay up all night, holding flashlights and hunting guns, waiting for the red shadow to flash in the mist. The tug of war between conservation and survival has not yet ended. In the fields of the American South, people are facing two different but equally terrifying invaders at the same time. Wild hogs weigh hundreds of pounds, are strong and destructive like hurricanes. They plow crops, destroy irrigation systems, and leave behind devastated fields. And the red fox is small and agile, but is a haunting haunt of chicken coops and duck houses. They do not make noise, but every night they rob farmers of their livelihoods with cold cunning. One attacks from the ground, the other comes in the night. Both are the consequences of human intervention too deeply into nature. When we introduce alien species for entertainment or economic purposes, ecosystems begin to deviate from their natural orbit. Without predators, they multiply uncontrollably, and nature is forced to retaliate in its own way. And that is just a small slice of the larger picture of the war between humans and nature, where the line between control and destruction is increasingly fragile. See you in the next video, where a new invader is about to appear. In Zimbabwe, baboons are becoming a nightmare for both rural and urban areas. From the fertile fields of Manabella land in the south to the outskirts of Bulawayo, they are destroying crops, raiding livestock, and even breaking into homes. The damage they caused is estimated to have exceeded 450,000 coins in 2025 alone, leaving a lingering unease among the people. In the city of Mzibingo, a radio station was left paralyzed when a troop of baboons chewed through the entire cable, causing more than 15,000 coins in damage. Not far away, on farms near Hanji, maize, mazes, and poultry flocks were raided, costing farmers thousands of dollars. The severe drought season has further exacerbated the human-baboon conflict, forcing farmers and hunters to risk their lives to keep their livelihoods. To control the growing population, hunters are forced to hunt baboons to reduce the damage. In Zimbabwe, rifles have become a common tool in hunting. Every hunt is a story of survival. Subscribe to the channel now to explore the breathtaking confrontations between humans and nature. However, it was no easy task. Baboons are cunning, often hiding and moving along familiar trails along the Save River or around the farms in Baitbridge, making each confrontation tense and dangerous. The hunter quietly followed the trail, keeping an eye out for natural choke points where the baboons often stop to rest or forage. A feeling of tension and excitement arose in my heart, because just one small mistake and the opportunity would be lost.